Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us for Fresno State Small Business University's presentation on this wonderful Wednesday. My name is Brian Salcedo, and I am a project assistant with Fresno State Small Business University, where we help people start businesses, or if they have a business, we help them expand their business. I will be your producer for this presentation. We are delighted to have you all joining us for our first QuickBooks session. Whether you are a business owner or just someone who wants to learn how to manage your finances effectively, we're glad you could join us today. I did want to point out that this is a series, so there will be 2 more sessions after this one. The second session is on July 16th, and the third one is on August 11th. If it is okay with everybody here, you will be automatically registered for the next 2 sessions, and we will automatically register you for that. And before we delve into the presentation, we'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors for making these workshops possible. Berkeley Law, Blue Tech Valley, the EDA, the Pie Shop, the USDA, Valley Business Connect, and our very own Women's Entrepreneur Center. And now it is my pleasure to introduce to you our guest speaker for this series. This speaker has over 20 years of experience using and teaching QuickBooks. Please help me welcome Cindy Wyman from All About Numbers.
Hi, everyone. I'm really happy to be with you here today, and we'll make this as simple and painless as possible. I know doing bookkeeping and worrying about your numbers and your invoices sometimes can be very, very intimidating and scary and difficult and confusing, but we're going to do our best today to make it simple. Please ask questions. I don't mind at all. If it's something we can't answer at the moment, we can touch base with it later on. So just a little bit about myself. I've been a bookkeeper for 40 years and was a CEO, CFO of a company for a little over 31 years. And I retired from that and decided I didn't like being retired. So I'm sticking with my love of numbers and helping business owners make sense of all the craziness. We can make it very simple. So that's just a little bit about me. And I will turn on my screen share and we'll get started. So let's see here. What screen do I want? I think I want this one. Let's see, here we go. There we go. Just a little quick intro. I don't know how many people are familiar with QuickBooks, so I wanted to start on just something, just the basics of what QuickBooks is. And this is my information. If you ever have any need to contact, have a question or anything, please feel free to contact me. More than happy to answer a quick question anytime if I can help. A little bit of a product overview. Access data easily. That's one thing about QuickBooks Online. You don't have to back up and send somebody a backup, and they have to restore it, and then they make change, and then they back up, and it goes back and forth, and you can lose stuff or you get the wrong backup. Now you don't have all the information. So QuickBooks Online is very accessible. The data, you can watch it in 2 locations, and the data changes simultaneously, so you know what's being done moment by moment. It can be run on a Mac or PC, a browser or a tablet, Apple or Android, and mobile access is included with all subscriptions. So on your tablet or your phone, you can also access the app. You don't have to do it from your laptop or that kind of thing. So there are a lot of benefits to QuickBooks. Noted data transferring, like I said, data is hosted and backed up and secure. And so you don't have to worry about running that backup. Where is it? What did I do with it? Do I leave it in my computer? Do I take it home? What do I do? All your data is backed up. You don't have to worry about any of that. And it can automatically create invoices and send them to clients. You can even do that from your phone. And it'll post multiple lines to accounts receivable and accounts payable in a single transaction. And I'll explain more what that is later on, but it is very beneficial. And if you need it, it will track inventory first in, first out. It can track various locations. It can easily email reports. You can have them scheduled to go to the right people on the right day. And there's class and location tracking available if that's something that you need. Bank transactions are automatically downloaded nightly or during the day. If you want to click that update button, so you always have your bank transactions, which saves so much time. And with a little practice, is very simple. And then we have unlimited reports and time tracking. Now the reports do vary between which level subscription you're on, but they are customizable. So generally with a little tweaking, you can get the report that you need. And you can add payroll to any level of subscription. And let's see. QuickBooks Online subscription levels, there's 4 levels. There's simple, essential, plus, and advanced. Each one comes with the next feature. So if you get essential, you also get all the benefits of simple, or if you get plus, then you get the 2 levels below that. So it is progressive. If you decide you want to start with a simple and then you're ready to upgrade, everything just seamlessly goes into your new product. If you want to downgrade, you find out maybe you're paying for a subscription level that's a little more than what you need, you can downgrade. Just be aware of what features you're going to be losing when you do it. So you don't want to lose a feature that you've gotten used to using. And let's see, there we go. Let's move that out of the way. There we go. Okay, I had to move something so I could see. Can you guys see that across the top? I don't know how to minimize that or get rid of it. So we'll just put it up there so it's not in my way. And as I said, payroll can be added at any level. Their payroll is really a nice feature. And let's see what we've got going here. I don't know why I'm getting that. What is that? Can you guys see that? I don't know how to make it go away. There we go. Okay. I'm going to do this real quick. So forgive me. I'm going to do this and I'm going to jump back up here so we can see the features, because that's a real important thing right there. Let's see if it will do it for us. There we go. Sorry for that little technical glitch there. Okay. On level 1, automatically backs up. You can track your time and expenses. You have 1 full user access. Now you can't access it from multiple locations, but it's only 1 login. And you can maximize your tax deduction, capture, and organize receipts. And that word capture is important because what that means is you take a picture of it and it puts it right in your QuickBooks. If you get audited, there it is for the IRS and all the world to see. It's a great, great feature. And it invoices, it accepts payments. It'll track your mileage, runs general reports, and sends estimates, tracks your sales and your sales tax. You can manage your 1099 contractors and manage your cash flow. So all of these features are included with the next level, which is essential. So essential bumps you up to 3 users. You run enhanced reports, which means you have more options in your reports, and manage and pay your bills and track time. And then if you go to level 3, then it bumps you up to 5 users. You run comprehensive reports, which are much more detailed, and you can track project profitability and track inventory. Now, most of the business I work with, mostly small businesses, a lot of solopreneurs, and they don't need level 3. They're not going to track inventory. They don't need to track the project profitability. If you need those things, it's fabulous. It works wonders and can do great things for your company. But most businesses are not at that level. And so that's just a little FYI from my experience. Now you have advanced, which is the 4th level, and it goes up to 25 users. Now, if you have 25 people that are accessing your accounting software, you're a very large business. And It offers amazing things for a company that large. Most people I work with don't need this, but if you do, it's amazing things. You can do your business analytics, insights, batch invoicing, expensing, customize access role, which means Susie logs in and she can do these things, and Bill logs in and he can do these things. So it's that type of thing. You have a dedicated account team at QuickBooks that's at your beck and call. You have on-demand online training. They restore your company data for you if there is a problem, and they can automate your workflows. So if you have the need for it, it's an amazing product. Most companies that I work with are not at that level. So now I'm obligated to say that self-employed is a product that QuickBooks offers, and it is very limited. You can track your income and expenses, capture and organize receipts, that wonderful capture, we like that, estimate quarterly taxes, invoice and accept payments, run basic reports, and they are very basic. And when it says track income and expenses, you can't make your own categories. So it's very limited as to how your things are going to be expensed or how your income is going to be set up. And the one thing that I feel is lacking in the program is if you decide that this isn't the level that you need, that you want to bump up to simple or essential, maybe, the data in self-employed does not, I repeat, does not transfer into the other products. So everything you've done there is going to stay separate in its own entity. So it's not a product that I recommend. If you do want to do something really simple, they do have a home product called QuickIn, which can easily be used to do a real simple, solopreneur that's starting out, and you can transfer the data. So, but those are the QuickBooks products that they offer for online. They're very reasonable. They go from 15 to 150. You see the advanced at 150. It has all those features that most businesses are not going to need. I find most people can go with the simple or the essential, and that's more than enough for what they need. You can get, with all pricing plans, when you start off, your first 3 months is 50% off. Your payroll, which has 3 levels, goes from 45 to 125, and it just depends on how many people you have, what exactly you want QuickBooks to do. Do you want them to do just the payroll and you do the reports? So it just depends on what your needs are, and it's real simple to figure that out with a little bit of investigating. So just some noteworthy items. They have many add-on applications. You can add Square. It'll take your Square money and put it where you want it to be. So it has a lot of user-friendly add-on applications. There's templates and report formats, so you can tweak and make your invoices and your reports look the way that you want them to. What are lists? Everything is a list. Your customers are a list, your products are a list, your vendors are a list, your employees are a list. Everything is a list. So that makes your data real easy to access. And it's very user-friendly. And I'll say that again, it's very user-friendly. People get overwhelmed with this kind of work. So it's very user-friendly. If you did it wrong, delete it and start over. Nobody will know. Nobody will know. Just delete it and start over. It's very forgiving and very user-friendly. And then I'm always a phone call or an email away. More than happy to answer a quick question, or there's something you can't figure out. I'm always available to help if I can.
Hey, Cindy, we had a quick question right now,
Yes,
actually. Yeah, it
okay.
says, is the QuickIn purchasable without a monthly fee? I think it was referring to QuickBooks.
Yes. QuickIn is the home version of QuickBooks. They're both by Intuit, which is the parent company, and QuickIn is the home version. And I think there's a couple different ones. There's a QuickIn and I think a QuickIn Deluxe or something. But yes, it's a single one-time purchase. It's online. It is made for home use, but with just a little bit of tweaking, it works beautifully for a small business. And it's a one-time purchase, and you access it online, so it's very user-friendly. So that was a good question. Thank you. I want to tell you about Craig's Design and Landscape Service, and you might be asking, why do I care about Craig's Design and Landscape Service? This is a full-blown QuickBooks product. It has company information, it has invoices, it has expenses. It's full-blown QuickBooks, a fully functioning QuickBooks file. And Test Drive has any and all features. It's free to anyone that wishes to use it. So if you need to make an estimate and you're going, oh man, I forgot how to do that, you can go to the Test Drive company, go in and play with it and create an estimate and go, oh, okay, now I remember. Close it out. It doesn't save any changes, so it's there for you to use the next time. Now you can go back to your QuickBooks and go, oh, I know how to make an estimate. I can do it right now. It is an amazing feature. It is just an amazing learning tool. If you've got a new person that needs to come in and they've not done much with QuickBooks, they can get in there and play around, and they're not going to hurt anything, because the minute you close it, it goes back to the way it was. But you can do anything on that Test Drive company that you can do in yours, providing the levels. Like I said, those are a little bit different. So you can use that, add a customer, create a service, import a list. Again, the all-important list, add a logo for branding, which is so important. Create an invoice, write a check. If anybody still does that, I'm a little old school. I like writing a check. So let's give it a go and see what we can figure out about QuickBooks. So let me switch this.
Alrighty, Cindy. And while you're getting that ready, we did have one more question. Are there monthly service fees for Quicken as well?
No. Quicken is, it's a one-time purchase. So once a year, I think it's $34.99. Don't quote me, but I think it's somewhere right in there. And it's just a one-time purchase. So it's very cost-effective, a great way for somebody to get started. And it's very user-friendly. Like I said, it's for home business, so you got to kind of tweak it a little bit, which I'd be more than happy to help you with if you want me to show you a few things. And if you know which report to run, you can pretty much have a profit and loss at the end of the year. But it is for the beginner, it's for the smaller business, but it does work beautifully, and it's very cost-effective, $35 for a year. How do you do that? So no monthly ongoing fees with Quicken.
Awesome.
So
thank you.
This is what your QuickBooks is going to look like. It's going to have your name, of course, but this is what it's going to look like. This is your dashboard. So it's going to give you all kinds of information, and it's customizable. So you see what you want to see, and the next business sees what they want to see. And before we get started on specifics, I just want to show you a couple things. It's just generic to the program, and so it'll make it a little easier getting around. Up here in the upper left where it says new, that little button right there is going to be one of your best friends. It will take you to just about anything you want to do in QuickBooks. So it's one click. I want to make an invoice, another click, and there it is. Voila, you're going to make an invoice. So let's go back. And the other thing that's you're going to use is up here in the upper right. So you're going to be in the upper left and the upper right. This gear right here, of course, your gear is your settings. And this is where you're going to personalize and customize your QuickBooks for you. So you're going to be able to do your account settings, you're going to manage your users, you're going to import data. So it's just, you're going to use that a lot. Those two things right there are you're going to use a lot. Down the left side here are all your modules, categories, selections, whichever you prefer to do. So that's quick. You can go right to your banking. So let's click on that real quick. And I want to show you, okay. Right here, see how date has a little arrow? You can sort it. Any of the screens you see where it has information like this, you can sort it by date. A lot of times you can sort it by description. You can sort by payee. So that's generic, whichever screen you're in. So depending on what you're looking for a date, you're looking for a specific vendor or customer, you're looking for a particular amount, then you can use those features right there real quick. So it just is very user friendly. So this gear here is going to be different than this gear. This gear is for your QuickBooks product for the entire program. This gear here that's going to be at the top of any of these lists is the settings for that specific screen. So if you want to see the check number, you want to see, you can choose what shows on that screen. Sometimes you can change the order of the columns, but that's what this is for. So when you're on anything that shows a list like this, that little gear right there is going to make you able to customize it to what works for you, for what you're doing. The other thing is this, I think they call these little 3 lines right here a hamburger. I think that's what it's called anyway, these little 3 lines. It's usually some kind of a menu. Well, this is another thing that's going to be helpful because it makes that disappear. You have more screen. I prefer that. If you want to leave that up there and that works for you, then by all means, leave it there. I prefer more screen, so I'm going to drop it over when it's not something I need. And it's very simple to get back. So that's just a little bit about.
Cindy, there was a couple questions. Sorry to interrupt.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It says, do we enter a date or can it be hooked up to our bank account?
Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about banking in one of the other classes, but the banking right here that you're looking at, that little button right there, update, that updates everything. This is everything that's been updated, downloaded from the bank. So you already have all that information.
So the data will automatically be
yes. You connect to your bank, which is very simple to do. You link the account, and then see on this one we have a checking, a savings, and a MasterCard. And you can have 10 or 15 of them if you want. It just depends on what is specific to your business. And each one of them will update and download directly from the bank, and this is what you get. So now QuickBooks knows those are there, so then you tell it, okay, these are the bank, and now I want to put them here. So it saves so much time and accuracy also. Was there a second question?
Yes, the second question was, is the Quicken $35 starter pack the one people need? It's $35 and it says it's a yearly fee. Is that the one people should get?
Well, it just depends on what you need for your business. It's just a matter of what you need for your individual situation. Some people can go with the Quicken, $35 a year and they're done. Some people need to move up. They need more detail, more tracking, more features. So as I go through today, we're going to talk about your chart of accounts. We're going to talk about your products and services. And these are some of the things that once we go through these, it'll put some questions in your mind and some understanding that, okay, I need it to do this, so I'm going to need this one. And then when we're done with the class, if somebody's concerned or doesn't know which product would be best for them, they're more than welcome to email me or give me a call, and we can talk about what their needs are, possibly what level and which product would work best for them. But I think after today's class and after we go through a couple of things, it'll help them answer that question.
Awesome. And the software you are using right now, is it the same as Quicken? Does it look the same?
No.
Okay. It looks different. Okay.
No, this is QuickBooks Online. That's all we're talking about. I just threw it out there because a lot of people don't know it's there. It's another Intuit product that can be very helpful for new businesses. So, but I mean, if they're interested, we can talk about that after the class or make an appointment to chat a little bit about that. But today we're only talking about QuickBooks Online. There's a QuickBooks desktop product, which is a little bit different. But most people I know use the online. They've added so many features. It's just so simple to use. It works for most businesses.
Okay. So, and one final question.
Yes, sir.
If the bank imports into this screen, then you need to come back and place uncategorized expense to what it needs to actually be listed in?
Oh, yes. Very simple. Very simple. And you can set rules where a lot of it will do it automatically. It's very simple with just a few little lessons and hints. you'll be doing it in no time. I don't think we're covering banking today. I think that's possibly in the second class. So we're not going to talk a lot about banking today, but we will in either class 2 or 3. So it's very simple. Yeah. And I just wanted to show some basics about how to use the program, because these features of being able to sort this way are very useful. And some people don't realize that you can do that, and it's generic across the program. So I hope that answers the questions. I appreciate the questions very much. I like to know that you guys are getting the information that you need. Okay, so we're going to go back. We're going to hit our little hamburger here, and we're going to go all the way down to where it says accounting. Okay, and this is your chart of accounts, and yes, we want to see it. Okay, this is QuickBooks. You give it all the information. You give it your expenses, you give it your income, you give it your payroll, you give it all the information, and this is where it ends up in this chart of accounts. There's the checking and savings accounts that we saw. If we scroll down a little bit, we'll see there's the credit card, the MasterCard. The Visa wasn't attached to the banking, but this one is. See the little arrows that tells you that. And this is where all your information is going to go. So a lot of people don't know anything about this. If they're starting out, if you're in business and have been for a while, then you're probably very familiar with this. This is important because what you're going to want is you're going to want this information, which is everything you put in QuickBooks. You want to be able to go over here again to the left and go to reports and look at all these reports. They go on and on and on. And the one most people want to see is this right here. And that's your profit and loss. So let me show you what that is and what I'm talking about. Okay, this is from January 1st through today. And this is all the income is first. And this is why it's important to think about your products and services and your expenses when you get started, because you want this report to give you the information you need. A, you want it to be an accurate representation. B, at the end of the year, you want to say print, and you want to give that to your accountant, and they can do your taxes. So the more accurate this is, the more you're going to understand your business, the more you're going to understand where your money is coming from and where your money is going to. So that's what the chart of accounts does. Then you take that information and you put it here. So let's look at it just a minute. This is a landscape company, so they have design income. They give discounts sometimes. Under landscaping, they have job materials and all of these items. So they know that for the first part of this year, that's the money they made on that specific item. So depending on what you do, you want to make that customized to what you do. Okay, I have a company that I work with that has bees, and they put the bees out for everybody to make honey. So we put that, we put the income, it's for the bees. They pay for the bee rental, so to speak. And then he has income from honey. And so you customize it so you know what it is. At the end of the year, you know exactly where your income came from. And now you're going to look at where your expenses go. They also have labor. So they have these categories here. Their income breaks down in these categories, and then also labor. They have installation, so a new install for a new yard, their landscaping, or they have maintenance and repair where they had to go fix something. So you want to know how much of my labor that I billed, how much was it for these two items? And you can have one line item that you want. It just depends on the individual business. And then they have pest control service, sales of product income, and services. So that's all their various income. And then you have your total income. You have your cost of goods sold. Those are costs directly related to the sale. So probably if they sold sprinkler heads, that's the cost of the sprinkler heads that they sold. And then we get down to your expenses. And again, this is going to be custom to your business. And it depends on what you want to see at the end of a week, a month, a year, because you can run these reports for any time period as you want. You can run them for the same period last year to this year, so you can compare. So it's very individualized per business as to what you need. So your expenses depends on what they are. You've got advertising, you've got automobile, a subcategory under that is fuel. I would think something else that could go under there maybe is your auto repair. Maybe you want to put your auto insurance there. I personally put all my insurances together. That's easier for me. Either one is accurate. You have they rent equipment sometimes. They have job expenses. They have job materials. So is it for a deck? Is it for patio? So you customize it for you. You have your legal and professional, accounting, bookkeeping, lawyer. That could be a sublet contractor possibly. So you want to have the chart of accounts set up for the information that you need, so that then in turn it can give you the proper reports. And that's how you know the status of your business, the status of your income, the status of your expenses. That's how you can project of when's maybe a good time to buy a new piece of equipment, or what it's going to take, or, hey, I thought I made a lot more money on those sprinklers. Maybe it's not worth my time. So this is how you know how your business is doing. Because you can be busy all day long, but if you don't know the numbers, you don't know if you're making money. So it's real important. This step, this first class, I think is one of the most important, because the more time you build on this foundation, the stronger everything else is going to be. So that's a brief explanation of what the chart of accounts are and the profit and loss.
And Cindy, we had 2 quick questions.
Yes, sir.
It says, I have Excel sheets with data that I track. Can it be uploaded into QuickBooks?
Yes. Yes, you can import, depending on the data. Yes, you can import it into QuickBooks. Yes, sir.
Awesome. And the second question is it such that you can do multiple business in one program, or do you recommend on program per business?
You would have to have one for each business. Yeah, you can't, you can only track one business. Now, you can do classes depending on the ownership of the companies. You could run it under like an umbrella, and then you would categorize in these lists here. You would have a class. One would be company A, company B, company C, and then you would have to attach that class so it goes into the right one. So it would depend on the ownership of the companies. You can do it that way. It can be a little tricky, but once it's set up, it's good. If depending on the end, again, as I say, the ownership, then you may want to do separate. So I hope that answers that question. So I'm going to show you a couple of things with your accounting, your chart of accounts right here. And this is generic a lot in a lot of the screens you see, but you can type, such your little search box. So we're going to type miscellaneous. Okay. There are things called miscellaneous. When you install and start using your QuickBooks, it's going to have a basic set chart of accounts in there. It's going to have your basic ones in there, and then you customize it for what you need. And they use miscellaneous and other. Well, just from experience, your accountant or your tax preparer is not going to like it when you use miscellaneous or other. They're going to ask you at the end of the year, what is this and why is it here? So just a word to the wise, eliminate or do your best not to use a miscellaneous or other. What I like to do, because you're going to have times where you go, I don't know what to do with this. What is it? I don't know what category. So what I like to do, and this is just to show you how easy it is to create a new account in your chart of accounts. You just click your little new button, and this is going to be, you pick which type it's going to be, and then it's an expense. And we're going to go down here, and we're going to say Office General Administration. But we're going to change this name here. And this isn't going to matter for this instance. We're going to put Ask My Accountant. And you tell it to save it. Now, if you type in the word ask, it comes up. So if you're doing your data entry and you don't know where to put something, is it a supply? Is it a job cost? Is it office expense? Or, you know, they just said it was $100 at Target. I don't know what it is. Well, instead of stopping in the middle of what you're doing and spending 10, 15, 20 minutes, an hour trying to contact or figure out what this expense is, you can throw it in Ask My Accountant. And then at the end of the day or end of the week, you go to your chart of accounts and you run your report. And in this case, there's nothing there. But then you can look at it and you can address the items all at once. But it doesn't stop you or delay you. Stop, start trying to figure out what things are. And then as you do, and the more you enter, you're going to know more where things go. But the Ask My Accountant, and if for some reason you give your report at the end of the year to your accountant or to prepare your taxes, they're going to know right then. They're just going to look at that report, see Ask My Accountant, and they know that you didn't know what to do with this, and then they'll help you. So it's just a simple way to take some of the pressure off when you're entering. You don't always have to be perfect. You don't always have to know the answer to everything. Throw it in Ask My Accountant, deal with it later. Get on with life. Sometimes it's not worth spending that hour right at that moment. So that's just something that I like to do, and I found very useful over the years. My clients like it because then when we chat, they can just pull up that report and we go through one by one what they are and what to do with them. And then the next time they know. So that's just something that I personally use. I want to show you under your accounting, your chart of accounts, there was insurance, if you remember correctly. Now they have two insurance. Now, when we have a breakdown like this, we have subcategories. I like to leave nothing in this. It's just the header, so to speak. But under insurance, I like to do, just as an example, again, this is an expense. So we go down here and grab expense. We go here and we go down and grab insurance. Now we're going to put right here, insurance-auto. Because what do you have? You have auto, you have liability, you have workman's comp, they have the installation insurance, but it's all insurance. But you want to know at the end of the year, did you pay more in auto insurance this year than last year? What about your workman's comp? Do you need to look at that? Did your rates go way up? Why did they go up? So it's just a way to say, okay, this is what I spent on insurance, but which insurance is the most expensive? Where am I spending money? Where can I maybe save money? So we're making this the auto, and we want it to be the sub-account of insurance. So let's go down here and see if we can find insurance. There we go, right there. Look at that. So we're going to save that. See, now we have insurance auto. So that way, when we run the report, it's going to say insurance, but it's going to have the drop down of auto, liability, workers' comp. You can also put workers' comp under payroll expense. Just depends on which way you want to see it. It's going to be deductible either way, but which works best for you. So let's see. Under the legal and professional, that's another one that has can have several things underneath it. I think it had accounting, bookkeeping. It could have your subcontractors. It could have a lot of different things, a lot of different professional services that you use. Maybe you use painters. Maybe you use concrete guys. You know, just depending on what you do. So you could break that down, and that's all the legal and professional services you're paying for. But what exactly is that? Because that can be a very large number, so you want it broke down. So once you're familiar with the chart of accounts and what things you're going to need, then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to create your products and services. And your products and services is what you sell. So it's best to try to get a complete picture of that before you do it. You can go back and add and change and update. Of course you can at any time, but the better the foundation, the stronger the business. So if we go up here to our gears, and if we go right here, we have products and services. Okay, so you're going to want to know what you do. They have design. Under design, they have fountains, which is concrete, pump, rock. See how it's all set up so that when they sell it, this is an inventory item. That's what it costs. That's what it sells for. They have 2 on hand. Now, generally, most people aren't going to do inventory, but you can sell products without them being in inventory. It's just you buy it and you sell it. It's not kept in inventory. So you want to add, here's your landscaping and all the things that are under that category. See all the different items. And then under sprinklers, you have a couple of different things. And then under your pest control, then you have these items. So you want to really think about what your business is and take a little bit of time, sit down and write out what are your categories. They have design, they have landscaping, and there's pest control. So you want to know your categories, and then what items do you need to break out of that? So like their fountains, under fountains, they have concrete, pump, and rock climbing. And again, this is going to make a difference to the reports that you run. The reports you run are only as good as the information you put in and the way you've categorized it. So you want to really stop for a little while and think about this and take the time when you're setting this up. It's much easier to do it in the beginning. Not that you can't go back and change it or fix it or streamline it, but it's easier, as most things in life, it's easier to do them right the first time, or to the best of your ability anyway. So I want to show you. So they're doing landscape design. Well, what's the one thing I see in here that's not included? And that's barbecues, outdoor grills. So as an example, we'll talk about how to add a new category. Scroll up here so we can see the top of the page. We have our new button. And this right here is something else that, depending on the screen you're in, there's going to be something up here that you can do for that particular area. Now that see the import, as we're talking about import, very friendly, imports from Excel beautifully. You just got to match up your categories. So we're gonna make a new one.
Hey Cindy, there was a question on importing actually.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
It says, I use my credit union for my small business. I'm told it's not comparable with QuickBooks. Is there a way I can load my banking from the credit union to QuickBooks?
Okay. Most credit unions, you may not be able to do it without a little bit of call, maybe a tech support between QuickBooks and the credit union. But yeah, I haven't found any that you can't link. I found a couple that were challenging to link, but with the tech support between the bank and QuickBooks, we were able to do it. So most of the credit unions do it. Like I said, it might take a little extra step getting it linked, but once it's linked, then yes, it'll update, it'll download and update all your data. I hope that answered the question. We'll get back to products and services. I just want to show you how easy it is to add a new product or service, because business evolve, you change. And this is a service because we're going to build a barbecue, so we want it to be a service, and we're going to make it barbecue. And we're going to have a category. What are our categories now? They're design. Away again. Design, sprinkles, but we want to make a new category. We want it to be Well, we could put it under design because we're going to design the barbecue, correct? So we can have it there. And then this is not a product I sell. No, I don't purchase this product. Under services, let's see, that would be under design. Do we have a design? Now these are the chart of account accounts. Okay, that's what you're pulling from. This is telling QuickBooks what to do with this information. Where everything we put in goes into the chart of accounts, and this is where you tell it how to do it. So this is income, and we should have a design right there. This is design income. So I want to say it's taxable. Nope, it's a service, so it is not taxable. This is a non-taxable service, and we're not purchasing it from anywhere, so we save and close. So now, if we go down and look, under design, we have barbecue. So now we know we can add that when we're designing, if it's specifically a barbecue, then we can add that there. Now, did they have labor? I thought they had labor. Installation, soil salt, installation, there we go. So when we're installing or building it, we would put it under the hours for the installation. So we have that. Now, what if we want to add, because we built them a fabulous new charcoal grill, maybe we want to offer them some fancy charcoal. I don't know if you guys have tried that or not, but there are some amazing charcoals out there. So just to show you again how simple it is, this is a non-inventory item because we're not going to keep them on hand. And they're cherry wood. So this category would go under products. Let's see. We should have design, fountain lines, sprinklers, past. We're going to make a new category. So we're going to tell it new. Very simple. This is product or sale. So we're going to save that. Now we have a new category. Our description of that is again cherry wood chips. And our sales price is $25. And we don't want it going into services because that's not the right income account. It would go into products, sales of product income. So we don't want to put that in services. It's not a service. So that's not telling QuickBooks the right thing. We want to make sure it goes in sale of product income that way. And it is taxable for the standard rate. And we don't purchase from the same vendor, so we don't need to do that. We save it. Now, if we go down, we should find products for sale, cherry wood chips. So how simple is that? So you want to think about what exactly it is that you sell. Service, product, combination of both, and how you want it to show. And it's nice to set this up, wait about a month, run summer reports and go, oh, that should be here and this should be there. And then you go in and you tweak it and then you're good to go. And maybe you don't need to tweak it. Or maybe you think, oh, I should have split that out. I want those two things. That's a big number. I want to break it down and know what it is. You add another service and you break it down. So you customize it for what you want. So let's see, what are we going to talk about next? Oh, when you're creating your products and services and your categories, sometimes it's best to sit down with an old-fashioned tablet and a pencil or pen and write it out and see how it breaks down. So that you can do that before you start entering them. And the sales tax. So if we're going to sell things like wood chips or sprinkler heads or books, bakery goods, whatever it happens to be, you're going to need sales tax. And QuickBooks does a fabulous job of tracking your sales tax. Sales tax is kind of like payroll tax, very important to stay on top of it because it will come back and bite you if you don't stay on top of it. So let's see, I think down here, if I can move this again out of the way. Let's get started on sales tax and I'll show you how easy this is to get going. So this is the address we're using. So sales tax, if you're not familiar, is all about where you're at. If you're in Fresno, it's one thing. If you're in Clovis, it's another. In San Francisco, it's another. In a different part of San Francisco, it's something different. In Sacramento, it's different. San Diego is different. And. There's probably, goodness gracious, 50 or 60 different sales tax rates because each city, each county can do their own. The municipalities can do something different. It's just insane. For one city, you can have 3 parts of your sales tax. So it's all done by the address. So that way you make sure you're getting the right rate because trust me, it's a challenge to keep track of that. So the official agency we're going to pay because we're in California is, look at that. It's just amazing how many different things. So we want California. Let's see if we type California in here. We'll pull it up for us. California Department of Tax and Fee Administration. That's who you're going to pay your sales tax to. So we're going to pay California. And the official agency is, again, it's California Tax. And then we sell to somebody in Arizona, which is unusual, but we'll give it a shot. Arizona. Let's say, I think, yeah, Department of Revenue. And see how they're all different? They're all a little bit different. So let's say next. Oh, let's see. One of your missing official agency. Okay, they want us to add one more. So we'll add Tucson in here. Let's see if we can bring up Tucson. So Tucson is Arizona. So let's bring up Arizona. Let's see if we can find Tucson. I think Tucson's in Arizona, isn't it? Excuse me. Louisiana. I don't know Louisiana. What happened to Arizona? No, we'll just pick this one again. See if that'll work for us. We want that one. Ta-da! Now we have 3 different areas we're doing sales tax. Generally, if you're sending something out of state, you don't charge tax on it. So this is a little confusing to me. I'm not a sales tax expert by all means, but generally, if it's from out of state, there's no tax. But this is automatically according to your address and the entity that you're going to pay, they calculate what the rate is. So now depending on, we want to save it. And depending on, and this is just kind of an overview telling you different things. So we don't need that right now. Sales tax center. So this you want to do, how often do you pay sales tax? Now, this it says for Alabama. I don't know why we're doing Alabama, but okay. Depending on your volume of sales, depending on the entity that you're paying, you're going to pay monthly, quarterly, annually. I've not seen a semi-annual, but I guess in some states they do have that. In California, you pay either monthly, quarterly, or annually. And so you pick which one you're going to do, your frequency. Most people are going to pay quarterly. If you're brand new, you might do yearly. So you do next, and they want you to pick for all your agencies that you have chosen. What's quarterly for each one. See how depending on the amount of sales it changes. These aren't accurate numbers, but it gives you an idea. So now, there we go. Now all the ones that we have, oh, I must have picked Alabama for one of them, but it shows you and it calculates all of your sales tax. And it looks like that was an oops, there was $29.96 in and $29.96 out. So that's interesting for the data. And then here's the amount that's owed for California. So when you click on your taxes, that's what you're going to get. And you're going to know how much is due and when it's due. You can run your reports. To pay it for California, I don't know about other states, but California, then you take that information, you run that report, and you go to their website, and then you can pay online. So you can do it the old-fashioned way with snail mail if you like, but generally that can get you in trouble because the person receiving it on the other end doesn't always input it correctly. So it is very simple to pay online. So, all right, let's see what else we got. Okay, next we're going to talk about customers. So we're going to switch gears, and here down the side we have sales, and this is your overview. If you click sales, it's just going to give you the overview. These are all the things that you can do. It's where your products and services come in. So we're going to talk about how to input your customers, and you can do it if you're starting new and you have an Excel with your customers' information. You can import that information so you don't have to do the data entry of entering each customer again. So that's very nice. A lot of programs, Excel or whatever you're using, they have an export feature. So you export it to a CVS, and then you can import it as a CVS, or you can do it with Excel. Either one works beautifully. It's just a matter of lining up. You call it customers, they call it clients. So you've got to make those names match so it'll pull it into the right category. So very simple. That's one way to do it. And then for manual entry, it really could not be simpler. You click your new. No, this is products and services, and we don't want that. We're not doing products and services right now. We're doing customers. Okay, now see, now this feature changed because we're on the customer tab. Okay, so if we go on invoices, now this button changes. It changes to what screen you're in. This button, generally top right, it changes to the screen that you're in. So right now we're going to talk about customers, and we want to create, okay, you can do customer types. So again, this goes back to what do you want, what reports do you want QuickBooks to give you? Do you want to break up your clients into types? You could do things like you have residential, commercial, and government. Maybe you're in some kind of solid waste. And so those are the types of customers, and you want to know, you want to be able to group it into those categories. You might have wholesale and retail. You might want to do the customer types to be able to help track your advertising, and maybe their yellow page, internet, and website. So you can make customer types. And again, this is something you need to stop and think about, maybe write some things down and decide how you want this to. I have a few clients that use it. Again, I work with mostly small businesses, and they don't really have a need for that. But if you need it, it's there, and it's a very nice feature. Start it at the beginning, makes things a little easier. You can go back and add it. You will have to manually add it to each customer. So you want to set up your customer types, or if you just need to add a new customer, somebody comes in, and you can put in as little or as much information as you want. This is me. I'm going to do some bookkeeping for them. And so we'll use that information. Okay, and then your display name, because this is my name, but my company name, so you can choose which display you want. Some people prefer to do last name, first name, last name. It's whichever works for you. In this case, I'm going to choose the company name, and this is what I'm going to use display. Okay, I have an email address. Oops. It doesn't like that comma. See there, it helps you out all the time. And we have a phone number, fax number. A lot of people don't have fax numbers anymore. There's another number. Maybe you've got a pager. Maybe you just want a little note in there that, call before, or don't call before 9 in the morning. just whatever little note you might need about that customer, you add their website. It's not a sub customer to anyone. And then this, you can also do Bill's parent company. So maybe you work with Lowe's, several Lowe's locations. You know, you might want to build a parent company, but you need to know which individual store. So that's when you would use something like that. You put in the address, and you can do the same as billing, the billing address, same as shipping. And here you can put notes, and I just want to put something here so you can see if I can spell. There we go, that's better. Put a little note in there, and we'll put, don't call before 9 a.m. I'm not a morning person, I will admit that. So that's just a couple of things, you know, whatever you need to know, you only call available between 1 and 3, or whatever note about this customer that's going to be helpful. Call before you order, or call before you deliver the order, whatever's going to be specific to that customer. Tax information, I'm not tax exempt. So if they, see, put in the sales tax rate there, I'm going to buy something from them. Payments. This is if they have a credit, you can put what their general, you know, they always pay with MasterCard. And you can actually put their credit card number in there. Okay. And then that way it'll process. You can change different things. Due upon receipt, net 30. This is just things specifically. And right here is where you would add, if I had a previous balance, you could add that as of this date, I owe 150 from last month. Preferred language. Yeah, I believe there's lots of options there. Attachments, you can attach, a lot of times this is good for if you have a credit app that they've filled out, if you have their resale certificate that they filled out. You can take a picture of those and you can attach them with the customer's record. So if you do, God forbid, ever have a sales tax audit, all your resale customers, there would be their resale certificates right there. So it makes it very simple for later on. And trust me, you want to make it as easy as possible. If you have a sales tax audit, they're not friendly. And they'll be in your office for a very long time. So you want to make sure you have all those ducks in a row. There's custom fields. Maybe you want to add, you know, you want my driver's license number to verify it's me, or you want to add my birth date to verify it's me, or something like that. And then here's where you would add your customer type. So it's just that simple. So if I do save, now look right here. Here's my all about numbers. You can email me. You can call me. You right here. Oh, this is the bookkeeper. And remember, she doesn't like to be called before 9. So that whatever you put in those notes is going to show right there. And that's what I wanted to show you because it can be very helpful. Some customers you want to put must pay cash on delivery. Some might be Gold Star customers, which is kind of an opposite way of saying I have to be careful these people don't pay their bill. But if they see Gold Star customer, they don't know that's what it means. So just whatever is going to be helpful for you to have there. Now that's their new customer. So now we're going to do, we have a choice. We can do an invoice and we can do a sales receipt. The difference being an invoice is here. This is what we're selling you, and this is your invoices, and this is what you owe us. If we choose to do a sales receipt, now that's the invoice, but it also processes the payment at the same time. Because when you think about it, when you do an invoice, it's an invoice, you send them a bill, so you give them something, and on the other hand, they're going to give you something because they're going to pay you. So it's two-sided. So an invoice is, here's your invoice, pay me in a week, or send me a check, and then I'll mark it paid. When you do a sales receipt, it's, here's the invoice, give me the money. So that it's going to be processed at the same time. So that's going to be your difference between the sales receipt and the invoice. And that's how you're going to, you need to look at them, because you want to make sure you have to that. So let's try a sales receipt. So the payment information is going to be, see here where it says MasterCard, because you have my credit card information, it's automatically going to send the invoice and take the money. So what you have to pay attention to is, if they're going to give you money, where are you going to put it? You're going to put it right here in deposit to. Well, you don't want it to go in undeposit funds. That's just like it's sitting in a drawer somewhere. Who knows what to do with that? You want it to go into your checking account. So look right there, you choose your checking account. Or, maybe this was a really big sale, so you want this one to go into your savings. So, but you want to pick the right account. You don't want to choose the undeposit funds. And that is basically like putting it in a drawer. If you want to do that, and then at the end of the day, you make a deposit and it moves it from undeposit funds to banking, then that's fine. Other times when you would use that undeposit funds, you would use it when people are paying you throughout the day, the week, however it works. And you have this money in your hand. You have checks or cash, and you're not going to make a deposit for each one of those checks. You're going to take those checks as a lump sum and put it in the account into the checking. So that's when you would use that, is if you have that scenario where it's not going, you're not going to deposit every $12 invoice or every $100 invoice. You're going to take and hold them. And then at the end of the day, the week, the month, whatever it is, then you're going to take that money, that undeposit funds money, and then you're going to take and give it to the bank. And that's exactly what you do with QuickBooks. You take it out of the undeposit funds and then you put it in your checking. So we'll talk more about that when we go over the banking section in one of the next two classes. So that's your sales receipt, very simple. Now I started this with the customer all about numbers open. So it automatically put them in as this is the sales receipt for them. So tags we're not going to talk about. We don't need that today. That's a little more advanced. So this is going to be how they paid. My credit card's in there, so it's going to process. I want it to go to the checking account. And I bought some cherry wood chips. They're fantastic. And if you've never used the flavored chips like that when you're barbecuing, it really does make a difference. And you can get peach and cherry and oak and pecan and all kinds of things. If you're a barbecue nut, it's kind of fun to try those things. But I want to do that. It is taxable. It's $25. It's based on the location. The sales tax rate is based on the location. And we didn't put in an address. So see, it's not knowing what to do for this because we didn't give it a location to go from. So let's see, let's cancel this. Remember what I said? If it doesn't work, delete it and start over. So we're just going to do, we want to leave without. So we're going to go to edit and we're going to see if it changes that. We're going to put this in and there it is. Let's see, did it change anything else we needed? I don't think so. Sometimes it'll change the email. Allergies, excuse me. So we want to save it. Now let's go back and do that same sales receipt again. And let's see what it does for us. So it's got, see now it's got the address in there. And so we're going to change our banking to that. And we're going to buy some cereal chips. Oh, it still didn't do it. Why is it up there? based on location. I don't know why I had to click on that. I don't know. Usually that that will automatically fill in. So there's the 231, there's the amount received, and see it says balance due 0 because it's going to process the payment. Kind of like when you go to 7-Eleven, it's the same thing. You buy the big gulp and you pay for the big gulp. So you're not going to pay for it next week. So that's kind of what this is. You think of it that way. Now, if I want to close that, because it's like, oh no, I'm not going to pay that today. So we don't want this. So yeah, we're going to delete that without saving. Now we're still on that customer's So now let's do an invoice. It's going to pay us later. It's going to send us a check at the end of the month. So again, all your information comes in because you opened that new invoice from that customer's page. So it fills all this in, and net 30, due upon receipt, net 10. That just means the net 10 or net 30 or whatever. It just means that many days from the date of the invoice. So personally, I always do a due on receipt. Generally, you know what your customers are going to do. And then there's the invoice date and the due date. See if you change the net 10, see it tells you when it's due. So that's what it is, for so many days from the date of invoice. And I don't know a whole lot of people that do net 60, goodness gracious. That's very generous. And see, it doesn't have any of the MasterCard or the banking in here because it's not taking payment right now. But we're doing the same product, very legit, 25, and why it's doing that based on location. I honestly can't tell you why it's wanting you to click on that based on location. I've not seen it do that before. Sometimes QuickBooks changes things. It's always kind of an ebb and flow, they update. So that's something I'll have to research and maybe review with you again, because I've not seen it do the based on location. So, oh, here we go. This is why. That's the default, and we want it to be the California. So now I imagine if we set that up in the customer, then it's going to automatically give the right one. So now we can do, what are we going to do with this now that we're done with it? Now that we're finished. One more thing before that, I want to show you. When I said earlier that for accounts payable and accounts receivable, you can do multiple lines. Well, that's what this means. The multiple lines is because see these lines here? You can sell more than one thing. I need some labor. They're going to come out. Let's see. Oh, I don't know what that. I thought they had a labor. Let's close that. Let's pick one. Hours. Here we go. I can do something. Landscaping hours. They're going to clean up the flower bed. Clean up flower bed. And so kind it tells you when you mistype. Typing is never my strong suit. Okay, so flower beds, and they work 3 hours and they charge $30 an hour. See, now that's not taxable. Okay. But you can have more than one line. So if you don't have to do an invoice for the cherry wood chips and invoice for cleaning up the flower beds, you can do it on one. It's multi-detail line. And that's what that means. So it is important to have that because it's so much easier to have. And you can have 6, 10, 12, 20 lines on here. It just keeps going. Add lines, add lines, add lines. See, it'll just keep doing it. So depending on what you're selling, what your products are, you might need all those. If you don't, look at this handy dandy little trash can over here. And look, now they're gone. And they won't show on an invoice if you print an invoice. So there's our total. Now, how do we want to send it to her? How do we want to send the customer this invoice? We can save it and do new, not do anything with it right now. We can save and close, not do anything with it right now. We can save and share a link where they can see the invoice, or we can do save and send. And this is where your email address comes in. They're going to send this to me, and it's from, And this little note right here, you can make that say whatever you want. You can change it. Cindy S1, I must have put an S somewhere. By accident, it should be an N. So you can change this, you can make it default. It'll default to this, or you can change it to default to whatever you'd like it to be. Or if you want it to say something totally different, you can do that also. And you can either print or send and close, but you can print it from here. Simple, and that's what your invoice is going to look like. You can add a logo. You can put the phone number. I always like that on an invoice. This doesn't have it. So personally, I would change their invoice format to include a phone number, which you can do. That would be a little more of an advanced class. Excuse me. It's California allergies. So you can see what your invoice is. You can make this line say what it wants. You can list your payment methods, what payment methods you accept. You accept cash, check, credit card, Venmo, Zelle, Cash App, and all the other ways to spend money these days. You can let them know how they can pay it. You can also, QuickBooks has a feature where you can add, and they'll put a little button up here where you email them this and they can click and it'll pay either like with a debit card, ACH debit, or with a credit card. And then they pay it, and then it takes about 2 days. Quickens puts it in your account. They take their share, like of course any credit card or processing would do, but they can just pay right then. So that's really nice. So that tells us a little bit about the invoices. And this is just, if somebody knows how to get rid of this, I would be more than happy to do that. Record, missing, enable, because it just seems to be in my way regardless of what I'm doing. So that's our invoice. Go back to our counting. So we're going to do send a new. We can send it all this to you. And then you go back. Okay. And then I want to just show you. Let's close this. So there's our invoice. We sent it. There it is. It shows all of our information, the invoice number, the date, the amount, open. And here we click here to receive payment. And then I believe that last delivery, it'll tell you when it was sent, because you're going to say, did I save it or did I send it? Because, you know, the phone rings or the kid cries or, you know, something happens, you get interrupted. This will tell you if you sent it. So that's a nice feature. It will also, when I open it in my email, it'll tell you when I opened it. So when they go, oh, I never got that, you can go, You may not want to say it out loud, but you know they did get it because that's when they opened it. But you can politely say, I'll send you another one. Would you like to stay on the line? But that way you can track what's happening with them and did they get it? Or did it go into email wonderland? You never know. Might have had that Gmail. I've had Gmiles a lot of times, and that just doesn't work. It doesn't go anywhere. So it's just a nice feature to see with the invoicing. So that's our invoicing and sales receipts. Let's talk a little bit about estimates. You can do an estimate. So now, new customer, we don't want to do that. We don't want to import customers. And this is our customers, okay? So now watch, if I click over here to invoices. Now look, that changes. Now it's all about invoices. But we want to do an estimate. So let's go up here to our happy little new button and look at right there, estimates. Estimates are going to look an awful lot like invoices. They're going to say estimate instead of invoice, but they're going to say a whole, they're going to look, well, let's do Duke basketball camp. What the heck? And she's got an Intuit address, so we're good. Let's see, there's all the information. This is the estimate date. Well, how long is that estimate good for? Something you need to think about, especially with inflation the way it is right now. Today, a gallon of milk is $3. Tomorrow, it's $3.25. You don't know. So you don't want to make an estimate that has variables like that for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. And then it comes time, they say, oh, well, that's the estimate. I want to do that work. Well, now you quoted something 90 days ago that it's not going to be the same. And maybe you're not going to make as much money. So you've got to be real careful with how long your estimates are good for. Now, if it's a service, that's different. But if there's anything as far as product or cost or supplies, you want to make sure and take that into account. So we'll make this a 30-day estimate. So it would be July 16th. And go down here. What are we going to do? We'll do the design. We're going to design a barbecue. And it's going to cost, let's see, we'll put brick barbecue. Barbecue 24 by, I don't know, 36. 24 by 36 inches. I don't know, is that good size for barbecue? And it's going to cost $1,000. So there's our $1,000. Simple as that. Now you've got down here message displayed on estimate. And you would put estimate good for 30 days only. Okay, what other message would you want to give them? So we might want to say payment 50%, not 59, 50% due at start of job. Balance due upon completion. So that's what you want to tell them. Now, if you're going to be sending a statement, this is something you can put here also if you want. You could add attachments. Maybe there's a picture of the barbecue. Maybe there's some measurements that you want to make sure. Maybe there's a map of where it's going to go in their yard. So you can add those attachments to your estimate. And then you can go save and send, save and new, or save and close. So we'll do save and close. And that was, well, oh, this is something else I want to show you while I'm thinking about it. I know I'm jumping, so I apologize. But when we talked about all the things that are generic through the program, whatever screen you're in, if you see this little clock with the backward arrow right there, that is going to show you the last things that you did. It gives you, what, about 5 of them there. And so if you want, they decided to add something, or I know I invoiced that wrong. I should have billed them for 2, not for 1. This is a quick way to get back to it. So if you want, and then also if you go down to the bottom, you can click view more. So that's going to be generic through the program, that whatever you're working on, that little backwards clock is going to take you back in time. It will give you direct access to the last few invoices, or if you need something that's a little further back, then it will give you a list. And this is the ones that were done. So it's just something that's another user-friendly feature that I think you will use is that. So whether you're writing a check, whether you're making a deposit, you're paying a bill, whatever it is you're doing, you're going to have that little back button. And it's just very handy to have. So I apologize for not showing you that sooner. But that's just a little trick you can use when you're moving around in your QuickBooks. So, and then we can do save and close. And now if we go to our customer, let's go back to our customer. We want to close this. We're not doing any more invoices. We're going to go back to our customers. So that's our sales. And our customers, where you can just click the one and then click this one. And was it Duke's basketball? Is that it? Duke basketball. Now there's that $1,000. Now look right here. They call you 2 weeks later and say, oh, hey, you know that estimate you gave me on the barbecue? I want to go for it. So you click create invoice and look at that. Voila, it is done. So we want to make sure, as we talked about, we want to make sure that you do have your done. So it's due, and I think you can change this. You can put upon completion. Save that. Save it. There's all things in my way again. Darn it.
Hey, Cindy, we did have a question about creating invoices.
Yes.
It says, while creating invoices, can you add a percentage fee line? I'm an agriculture contractor and we have labor fees and service fees.
Okay, hold on. Let's close that. Gotta figure this out before the next class. We're gonna leave without savings. We're gonna do new. We'll do invoice. Okay. Here's that. Net 30, we're gonna do net 30. Okay, now give me the question again. So I make sure I'm understanding the question.
Sure. It says, while creating invoices, can you add a percentage fee line? I'm an agriculture contractor and we have labor fees and service fees.
So you would want to add a line item and then a percentage. So it would automatically calculate a percentage of something. Is that what I'm being asked?
Yes, I think that is correct. Percentage for labor fees and service fees.
Oh, I don't want that one. Okay. Close that. See, that's the wrong gear. It's the gear for invoicing. So we're going to close that. And yes, we want to put, let's go up here and look at the gear here and do products and go back to our products and services. That's a really good question. And to be honest with you, I know you can do a percent as a discount. I don't know if you can do a percent as a charge. I don't know that off the top of my head. It's not something I've done, but if that person wants to put their email, or if we can send a group email, I'll be happy to research it a little bit because I'm sure you can. I don't know how to do it off the top of my head, but I'm sure you can. And let's see. So we would do new. And this is a service that we're doing. Okay. Percentage. Oh, I don't want that. That's the category. I don't want to add a new category. For do design, does it have labor? We'll do it in design, description, sale price. So, income accounts are better. You know, I unfortunately, I don't know that off the top of my head. If he would like to leave his email in the chat, and then I can get back to you guys on that. I apologize for not knowing that off the top of my head. I would imagine it's something we can do, but I can't do it right off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
Okay. So, she left the email in the chat box, so we have that. Good. And then there was a follow-up to this question. It says, I think this person might be asking if they charge $15 an hour and only charging 3/4 of an hour.
Oh, Yeah, yeah, we can do that if that's what they're asking. I was saying they were a certain percent, so I didn't understand the question if that's it. We'll go back to invoicing, and it's very simple. There we go. Puts in all your information. I want to do in 30 days. And now hours. There's $35 an hour to clean your flower bed. And then it's as easy as doing this. It's 0.75, it's 3/4 of an hour. So if that's what they're asking, a percentage, then that would be it. If it's whatever the quantity is, it might not be hourly rate. It might be installation of landscape design. That was $750, but we're going to only charge them 0.8, 80% of it. It'll just break it down that way. If that's what they were asking. So I hope that answers the question. As far as doing a percent of something, like I said, I would have to research that a little bit. But if that's what they're asking, that's how you would do it. So I hope that answered the question. You guys have great questions today, by the way. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. And that is what I have for today. So if somebody has any more questions, I'd be happy to answer them. If not, I think we'll be all done with the class for today.
Okay, we did have quite a few questions.
Okay, let's go see what we can figure out.
Alrighty, so the first one is, will this calculate payroll taxes such as workers' comp, Fed, state, and Social Security?
Yes. Yes. The payroll does it all. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Payroll.
The next question is, I have a company that does custom artwork. They don't have inventory, but rather do each order as a custom item. Do you list the description as an individual line item? For example, canvas customs and metal customs.
Yes. Yes, they would be individual line items in your products and services. When you want to create that, you would do new, and it's going to be a non-inventory. Because you have inventory, you're going to count, you got 12 in, and then you sold one, and you sold one, and you sold one. Well, that's not what you're doing. So it's a non-inventory sale. So you would set up your item as what did they say, canvas something? Canvas art?
Yes.
Yeah, and then the category would be something like art sales. I don't know, I'm just ballparking it here. So it would be art sales would be your category. And we're going to add that. Here's this thing in the way again. Save that. It's art sales. Yeah. And then what description do you want it to automatically fill in the description? Or you do it, you can do it as you sell it, or you can have an automatic thing there. We don't purchase it from a vendor because it's something that's created, which is amazing. And then the sales price, you don't have to put it in there. And then for your income account, you would have something like art sales in your chart of accounts, so you would know what that is. So you could do each one on your invoice. You could have your canvas sale, and then I don't know, the hanging package or something with it, that you would do as a second line item. Does that answer their question?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
And the next question is, how do you set up Google Pay, Venmo, Cash App, or even Cash Paid accounts? And is each listed under your banking?
Yeah, it's under banking, and we'll go more into that in one of the other classes in your banking. See this app transactions? You can add the different apps here. So you add your Square. I don't know, I don't have a list of all of them that they offer, but this is where you would do it. You add your apps, and then as people pay you Venmo, it goes in there, and then you process it like you do your incoming bank transactions. actually you process the app transactions first, and then in your banking transactions, you match it. So that's how you would do that and where you would do it.
Perfect. The next question is, will this training be accessible after it is over? Yeah, yes, it will. It might take the rest of the day to process, but we will be sharing it with people who attended.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, and as I said, if you guys want to jot down my information, please don't hesitate to call and ask a question or send me a little email. You can even text if you want, but sometimes it's just a quick question, and that answer, then you can move on and not stress about it. So I'm all about, let's not stress over this, let's make it easy. So don't hesitate to contact me if you have a question.
Perfect. And there was a follow-up to that earlier question. It says, for example, the labor fee for an employee is $140 a day, and I also charge a 30% fee for that amount for the services.
Okay, so my question would be, generally, a client or a customer doesn't see that the cost is $140 and you add 30%. It's lumped in one thing because you don't need the customer to know that you're making 30% off of your labor costs. So generally, that would be a one-line item. If they want it to show separately, I'm sure we can figure out how to do it. If you want it to be, if you want a line item that's going to figure 30% of the line above, I'm sure you can do that. I can't show you how to do it at this moment, but as I said, I'd be happy to research it a little bit and get you that answer.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and the client put in their email, and so I will send it to you, and we can follow up with her.
Okay, and then also I have it's either 3 or 4. I'll have to look, but a different little what's a small book? They're like 10 or 20 pages each, but it's a step-by-step instruction. It's actually QuickBooks material. I didn't create it, but it's about, it gives you a step-by-step on a lot of these processes that we talked about today. And I will make sure you get those, Brian, and possibly you can forward them. And then if anybody's interested, then they can take the time to print them out, their PDFs.
Yeah, absolutely. We can share that with attendees after the event.
Okay, so is that all our questions?
Yes, one attendee said, great, thank you. I would love to have a copy of the PDF.
Oh, okay, yeah, we'll make sure and get that to you. And I know I've said it before, but please don't hesitate to call or contact me if you have a question. I don't mind at all. I certainly don't mind at all. And then we'll end here. We'll go one more. And I just like to thank you, because time is one of our most precious gifts. So thank you for sharing some of your time with me. I really appreciate it. If you ever need me, there's my contact information.